Hello, everybody. Um, Actually, I just need to make sure that you can see us because at the moment you can't. We are just on the normal page there, so bear with me. There you go. Now you can see us. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Chinwag number 240. This is Chinwag 240, our weekly chat with myself and my wife Rebecca. Where we just come on and chat about, we just chat about stuff, don't we? Really, that's all it is. We chat about.
We do chat about some things.
We chat about some things. Chat about our sales of the week, how sales have been, that kind of stuff. Really, that we get to, and then that's what this is going to be. This is going to be more of that. And we have a few people regularly that pop in, such as the lovely Bumcrack Picker and Tori. Thank you for popping in, guys. We're a little bit earlier than normal.
We are.
Part of that is because we're trying to get away a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, our daughter finishes work at 8 and we want to go and pick her up. So,
Yeah, exactly. It would just make it a little bit easier.
It means we just have to cut this short a little bit.
We're not cut it short. We're just starting a little bit earlier. Yeah, a little bit
that
earlier.
We can still
so you've not lost any...
chat for an hour.
You've not lost any chat. There you go. No chat has been lost. I'm sure you'll be happy. Dave Repairs, how are you? Thanks for popping in. The changes. The haircut was just...
Yeah.
Did you headlock him and shave him like a sheep?
It was nothing to do with me, actually, right? It was absolutely nothing to do with me. You were kind of getting a little bit fed up with your hair, weren't you?
So I just decided
it was the conversation with Hannah. She was like really brutal, wasn't she?
Yeah, my eldest daughter just said, you should get a haircut. And it's the way she said it, really.
It was very sharp, wasn't it? It wasn't.
I don't think she meant it like it was just it was to the point. It was to the point.
It was a little bit sharp.
And it was just to the point. And I thought, you know what, she's right. I should get a haircut.
Yeah.
So I went the next day and just got it done. And I'm happier for it.
Yeah.
I'm
you
happy
look a lot
for
smarter,
it. Oh, thank you, honey. My wife says I look smarter. Win-win.
Yeah.
Hi to Lee says, how's the listing going, guys? We will touch on that definitely. BCP saying hi, Nespresso saying hi. We'll touch on listing. We're happy to do that. It's gone exactly as we had planned. We are still listing every day without fail.
Yes.
Currently, we're still just aiming for the 15 listings. We would love to do more, but it's... when it comes down to it, we have to source as well, which takes time. Because obviously we're listing and we're selling, and we're not just selling on eBay. Bear in mind, some of the stuff we buy flies out of the shop.
It does,
like literally.
So if it's
to the point where people will glance in the back, and we've sold stuff before it's hit the shop floor as well.
Yeah,
where
we have.
People have seen it. Goes, oh, is that going to be for sale? Yeah, how much? Blah, bam, it's gone.
And then they go, I want to take that.
Yeah, so we have more things to kind of contend with than we used to have. When we only had to focus on eBay and our only outlet for selling stock was eBay, I think we'd be a bit further along in terms of getting a draft bank, because unfortunately, being just completely honest with you guys, we're still not able to get a draft bank going, which is kind of frustrating.
Some days we are.
Yeah, some days we are. But
we actually kind of got a day off on Wednesday.
Kind of, yeah.
You didn't. You still went into work.
But we have points where we can almost get one, but it's a busy time in the shop as well at the moment.
It is. It's really hard to kind of shut off.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of
holidays.
Footfall. Yeah, exactly. A lot more footfall, a lot more interruptions. However, we are getting the basic 15 done. And part of me thinks because that's getting done, I'm sure it's more of a mind block of not being able to build the draft bank. Because I'm thinking to myself, hold on, if despite all those reasons I've just given or excuses we've just given of why we can't do a draft bank, we've still managed to consistently do the 15, which means with enough focus and effort we could probably build a draft bank as well. So we're still going to be aiming for that and maybe pushing that little bit harder to build the draft bank. So it's one of those situations where, but we're really happy with our listing habit.
But we're hitting our 15 a day, definitely.
Yeah.
Still not enough for the draft bank, but it's getting there.
Yeah, for example, today it's been pretty manic in terms of sourcing. I went out sourcing, which took up a bit of time. I also had a doctor's appointment, nothing serious, thankfully, but it took up time. And with that, Beck was in the shop on her own for a bit, having to deal with customers as well as trying to get some listing done. We had shipping to be doing as well. Some of the items were not super simple, like we had they kind of were, but they still take time to ship, you know what I mean, like so we haven't gotten our 15 uploaded yet. We've gotten a good way towards it, and I'll be working on that this evening to make sure, and you'll probably be doing a few as well to get ahead. So there is always a battle to do it sometimes when you add in the extra stuff. I think, like I said, we're pretty happy because the shop is a big time. It does take up time. I was going to say time sink, but that's the wrong word.
It's the wrong word. Completely the wrong word.
The shop is like demanding. It's shop that it demands you, especially like you when you're dealing with customers, you don't know how long they're going to be talking to you. Now, you can't have the attitude of, oh, I'm going to just keep it really short with customers, because that's just not good service. So whether a customer is spending like £50, £500, or £1, you still have to treat them almost identically. I'm sure there are going to be differences if someone's spending like 500 quid versus £1, but there really shouldn't be. In an ideal world, there would not be any difference with how you treat that customer service wise, and I think we do that. I think we honestly treat every customer equally. You have to give everyone the same respect, the same time, the same appreciation, and the same, you've got to be grateful that, like, we're literally grateful for everyone that walks in. You can't take it for granted. I think in a way online helps you so much with that you take it for granted with eBay, and you don't necessarily respect it, and especially because you can pay for people to look at your stuff as well with things like promoted listings. You don't really value it because you're getting a lot of eyeballs on your items that are not necessarily your natural customers, and they're just looking at your stuff because you've paid for eBay to show stuff to them. But in like retail sense, every person that walks in most people that walk in are the right customers. Even in the real world, you get customers coming in that aren't really your customers. The amount of times during a day, like even today, there was at least 4 or 5 instances where someone walked in off the high street, walked into a shop, which we're so grateful for. Everyone that walks in, we are grateful for. Walked in, and they look around super confused, don't they? And then what?
Some of them do. Yeah, some of them do. What? And then they go.
They go. So even in the real world, that's like promoted listings of the real world, but without paying. So.
Sometimes I've had this before where I've had like a few people like popping in. And they just walk in and they go, I don't know what your shop is, so I just thought I'd come in and have a look. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine, have a look. And
sometimes they like what they see, but we have had today 4 or 5 people that literally walked in. And as soon as they stepped foot in and they saw we weren't what they were after, they just left. So that's almost like promoted listings in real life, isn't it? Because it just showing or your stuff being shown to people that aren't necessarily your target market. So they're just going to just see it and ignore it. And that's what happens even in the shop. So when we do get people walking in,
I like the fact that they were bothered enough to come in and find out what we were.
Exactly. I'm still grateful for that. Exactly. Even when someone walks in, and because they might not think it's for them, but they might be like, oh, I went to this shop, and it might and speak to someone, and then it might just be a situation where they come in and they're going to next time be like, oh, that shop, I went to the shop, it wasn't for me, but that shop might be of interest to you. I think that kind of stuff is really cool. I didn't lose a bet, Dave. Your hair is out of control, I'm sure. He's gained his youth again. I wouldn't go that far, but thank you. BCP says Z's hair that was cut off has gone to good use. It's been woven into one of those doormats you saw at school entrances in the 1970s. Very funny, BCP. And Fix It for Reselling Lee, hi there, says, blimey, who's that next to Beck? I've had that quite a lot this week.
Yeah, do you know what? He's had it with so many different people on the high street.
When I went to the roasting joint,
obviously. Was one, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I went to the roasting joint, obviously.
And in the pet shop.
Yeah, pet shop.
We talked to the guys at the pet shop quite a lot. And
yeah. So yeah.
And they the gent in there, he was just like, I didn't even recognise you then.
Yeah.
So you've had a lot of that, and even walking down the street, we saw one of our neighbours this morning.
Yeah.
And he turned, because you said hello to him, didn't you?
Yeah.
And he was like, I didn't recognise you.
So it's not that much of a difference. Like, seriously. Rich by name, not by nature. Thank you for popping into the chat. Appreciate it. Kathy says, hi, everyone. Oh, very kind of you, Kathy, who is tall. Yeah, I wish I was... I wish I was those things, but thank you very much, Kathy. Appreciate it. Lee says, good work, guys. Keep it up. I list 12 a day every day, and if you sell lots of different items, and if 50, so I know how hard 15 must be. I think that's the thing, Lee. Appreciate it. I'm glad. Good to hear that you're doing 12 solid listings a day. Mm-hmm. We often say it would be a lot easier if we were doing lots of one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. It just would be. I think it would be a lot easier. I think there's a lot that goes into it, and it's one of the things we actually wanted to talk about is when you're buying stock, taking into account the work required to actually get it ready for sale. Mm-hmm. Because we've been dealing with a really good lot of stuff. We've had a really nice pickup, and the thing is, even though it was some really nice items in there, we've had them since the middle of last week. Was it, Beck? Was it the middle of last week we picked them up? Wednesday last week? I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
So it's now been a week and a half, and we're now only just getting to the meat of the pickup and being able, hopefully getting it ready to list.
Yeah.
And that's because of prep, needing prep. So really important to kind of bear that in mind. But yeah, I appreciate it, Leah, and good to hear that you're doing like your 12 solidly. And it is definitely difficult when you're doing different items. We find it's a lot easier when we're churning through similar stuff. It's so much easier.
Like I'm still working on a lot of comics. We picked up about 300.
I think it's around the ballpark, probably more than 300.
Yeah, and that was at the weekend. And oh my goodness, it's like so much to work through. And I've only just finished doing like our first bundle, like that we bought. I don't know how long we've had those actually. We've had them for a little bit longer, haven't we?
Yeah.
So I just finished working through that lot, and then we bought another lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was sorting through some of those today, and I do sort them into like similar lots. So like I'm dealing with all like the Marvel ones, and then I stick all the Avengers ones together. And I don't know, Avengers is still Marvel. I get that. Okay.
You know this.
I know this is right. And then we obviously got like Hulk.
So many. Basically, you're saying there's lots of variations.
There's loads and loads of variations, and I've got some DC ones, and I've got some horror ones. So sort them all together like into like their little things, and then it's so much easier to kind of go through. But the work is so. That's the thing. Is once you've done the kind of setup, it's okay. But there's so much work involved in getting to that point. That's one of the things we've been dealing with. In this other collection, we got a whole bunch of vintage plush stuff. And we got it for a really good deal, but the work, again, is so much work involved. There is a lot of work in cleaning the stuff up.
Because it wasn't stored properly, and, as we all know, plush can become a bit musty, it can become a bit grimy, it can just pick up dirt and dust over the years, especially when stuff's been stored for many years. It's... People don't often see that, like when they're selling these items to you, they don't often see that. And you're not going to be like blatant. Well, I'm sometimes blatant. I did actually say, look, I did have to just straight out say this. The condition is just It's great that you think this is worth a lot. I'm telling you, you've like wrecked it. Basically, it's not. It wrecked. We had to literally rejuvenate this stuff. It takes time. It takes money. Like washing, using like surface washing takes time and effort. All this stuff takes a lot of time and effort that we have to really think. Like,
and not all of it can be stuck in the washing machine either. So some of it can.
When we get people offering to kind of sell us things, we have to think, because it's not like we have an issue getting stock. We've got to weigh up that we could just go to one of our wholesalers and get a nice clean box of stock delivered to us with all the work done, the photos, the SKUs, the descriptions, no prep required, and we could just sit there and list that and list that and list that. And there are times where I think actually when our capital allows it, we're going to heavily go more in that direction because it's so easy. And therefore, it kind of means that when we're dealing with mixed lots, they have to be worth our while to pick up. Do you know what I mean? Like, it has to be worth our while, because it's like, I'm not like kind of desperate for it. And plus, we can go to car boots at the weekends. We pick up stuff there as well. So when we're buying lots, the lots have to be worth our while to buy, so that it's kind of worth, because otherwise we can just have the easier life of just listing some new stuff and just keeping it simple. But it's part of the thing that you have to kind of, when you're buying in big lots, you do have to kind of keep an eye on it, in my opinion. But anyway, let's see who else. Susie has popped in it to flip it. Thank you for popping in. Holy shite, Peck. When did you remarry? Very kind of you for saying that. You didn't remarry.
No, I didn't. No. I like the way you say that really quickly and quietly.
Bad Biscuit Lex has popped in with and what's almost becoming like, a thing of like, what was that thing? Like a expected question now. What is the question? Z, do you prefer an all-in-one or separate bikini tops and bottoms? Is that like for me to wear, or like I want to, because I'm with Lex, you have to check these things. Because do you know what I mean? Like, is it for me to wear, or is that like on the female form? Like, so if Beck was wearing it, or like, some, I don't know, some lady was wearing it or something. What's the situation? I think, like, my instant reaction is I probably prefer the top and bottoms. But if I was wearing it, then I'd probably prefer like.
I like the way you go into both regardless.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. For you. Well, then in that case, I'd want to wear like a complete
all-in-one.
Yeah, ideally, or maybe like a wetsuit, maybe. Silent Nerd. Hey, Silent Nerd. Do you buy items in your shop? I live in Cleveland and might be selling my entire nerdy collection soon. Star Wars, Marvel, DC, comics, toys. Yes, Silent Nerd, we do buy stuff. But just being straight up with you, just like we were saying, actually, we do buy stuff, but obviously the collection for us has to be worth it, like in terms of value, like as in we'd have to get a good deal. I often tell people that we tend to pay about 30% of market value at best, and that scares them away. So I'll tell you that. And if you still want to sell to us, yes, you know where we are. But yes, we do. Fix It for Reselling. Lee says, been listing around 10 a day for the last few weeks with good results, but only listed a few last couple of days. Honestly, Lee, Fix It for Reselling, it sounds so like simple and just, it just sounds so simple and like ridiculous, but that is the biggest thing. Like for us, that is the non-negotiable. Like right now, I think if you were to say what's the one non-negotiable, like there would have been a time where I would say definitely going to the car boot or definitely sourcing. 100% now, I couldn't sleep knowing that we haven't listed 15 fresh. Yeah. And I mean, this is the other thing, guys, as well. Fresh items. I think fresh meat. I honestly feel that, eBay is a multi-billion-dollar like Silicon Valley tech firm. That's what it is. It's a tech company, right? And I just honestly don't think that doing things like trying to trick the system by just like counting relists or selling similar to get your listing goals, I'm not sure that has the same effect. It might do, it might do,
can't be sure. So.
But in my my kind of, I suppose, call it a belief because I've got no facts for this, but I just feel like surely it can't be that easy because there's too many like digital footprints left. Like if your photos are the same, or if your wording or something, there's too many other things other than just the item number that would probably let them know. And plus, not just that, one other thing I would say is, like, even if you can trick eBay into thinking you've listed a completely new item, you can't trick your customer. Now, and if the item didn't sell quickly or for a good amount the first time round, it's not likely to suddenly then become desirable just because you've relisted it. Unless you did a really terrible job on your original listing, say you like completely messed up your original listing, I can't see how suddenly you're not going to you might trick the eBay algorithm, but you can't suddenly make an undesirable or a bad buy item a good buy or a desirable item just because you use the best keywords, etc. There's only so much spit and polish you can do, like they say, at the end of the day, turd's a turd. If you can shine it all day, but you just end up with a shiny turd, right? So I kind of feel like 15 for us, 15, it was just an arbitrary number, wasn't it? Really, it kind of because Mandy lists 15. I was like, you know what, Mandy lists 15 a day. We think Mandy's great, so we were just like, yeah, let's just go for 15. But also it's like 15 fresh items in the store. And it overall it's been really solid. Like if you look at it overall, our number of sales a day are pretty consistent now. We don't really feel like that it's as kind of sketchy as it has been. And also I think the main thing that's changed as well is our attitude towards eBay.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah? You just want to say yeah and that's it?
Yeah, I do want to just say yeah.
You want to add to that? You've got a big mic there.
No, it's just like, the 15 is like non-negotiable. We always do 15. Even if we haven't done it by the time we've left the shop, we come home and do it. Yeah. Or the other thing that we've actually put into place this week is we actually get to the shop for 7:30, and we do about an hour and a half
uninterrupted work, which is good.
With uninterrupted work, which has been working out absolutely amazing. And it's been so good. We've actually been getting most of the time our verified listings, we've actually been getting them done. When I say verified listings, it's because like on WooCommerce, we can publish our listings on our website straight away, so they go active straight away. And then for eBay, we just leave them verified, and then we wait to kind of publish them all together, kind of thing.
Yeah. And I think the other thing I was actually kind of touching on with attitude towards eBay is we've really changed how much focus we put on stuff that we can't control.
Yeah.
I think it's really dangerous and really easy to start focusing on the things that we can't control. So at the moment, everyone is being bombarded, aren't they, with how terrible things are. Like, you can't control the economy. You can't control people's finances. You can't control how much free spending money they've got. You can't control the weather. You can't control all these things that you can't control. And in the past, we have been openly guilty. I've made loads of videos going, our eBay sales are low. And then in that video, I'm sure if you watch it, you'd see me saying things like, oh, it could be because of this or that or the other. And you know what? Those factors, I'm not disputing that outside factors exist. Of course they do. But the
point is you can't control them.
You can't control them. So
it's like, it's pointless even trying to kind of get your head around it, or like we don't like placing the blame with anyone else but ourselves. So if something's going wrong, it's us that the fault lies with. And that's one thing that we kind of always...
Or you look at it like, what can you control? Yeah, or you just... So it's sometimes like the wording can be really important, because when you start saying things like fault and it can put like a negative connotation on it. Whereas when you just see it as like, okay, what can we do? Like, what can we do? It was one of those little really simple things. Like we used to kind of focus on when we used to sell in Harrods or wherever, and people, not wherever, in Harrods specifically, they used to focus on this a lot. It was always about, don't focus on what you can't offer the customer, focus on what you can do for them. So if someone came to you with an issue, someone came to you, and some of these issues were big number issues. They were like, hey, I ordered this and I spent this many thousands on it and I can't do this or whatever. What are you going to do about it? And like, rather than saying, and oftentimes it would often be like a time related thing, wouldn't it? It would often be like a time related thing. So people wanted stuff fixed instantly. Like when you're like, the average Harrods customer doesn't have patience. Like, they expect it, they pay the money, they want it done. And your initial reaction would be like, sorry sir, we can't come out today or whatever. But rather than focus on that as your starting sentence, instead of that, you'd literally flip it around to saying, what we can do for you is come out on this day and personally make sure that it's fine. Or like, you personally say like, what I can do is pop out for myself, rather than you have to trust one of the delivery guys that obviously didn't do a great job in the first place. And that would give them the confidence. And if someone spent like 30k on kit, and you're the salesperson that sold it to them, and then the delivery guys have just set it up and done like an average job, it's not good enough. So sometimes you could go around and then you could finesse the situation, show them a few bits of what they've bought, etc. And it sometimes that can be really important. And I think like when it comes to like eBay or whatever's not working right, or not working to your kind of, to what you'd like, one of the things you can do is be like, well, what can we do?
Yeah.
What we can do to make this better is maybe list more higher ASP items.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe we can increase our daily listings. Maybe we can, so those are the kinds of things I suppose we're trying to focus on.
Yeah.
Right. Hey Mandy, how are you? Thanks for popping in. Speak of the devil. You've dropped 20 years. I can only wish, hey hun. Oh, can you imagine that? 20 years younger. No, I definitely wouldn't wear a mankini, Kathy. I could not pull that off right now. It would be. Oh, I think you might be sick in your mouth, wouldn't you, honey? If you saw that. I think that would be. And you can mix and match bikinis, spotty bottom, zebra top, variety. Yes, legs, variety, but I'm just saying for myself. Get that mic in the beard now, so then, it's not going to happen. That would hurt. Loving the haircut, says Reese. Oh, thanks, Reese. Appreciate it. And Will36 says hello. And Lex says, Z, you are indeed correct. I did a month of ending 10 a day and sending them to auction, and it ran my store into the ground. Wow, Lex. Wow. I'm guessing that sounds like past tense, so I'm hoping you're kind of back up to where you are, where you have been, because you've been smashing it. So I hope that's all been resolved. But I mean, that's the thing. You can never say what the causes were, can you? We're all like in the dark a little bit, aren't we, when it comes to the voodoo algorithm or whatever. But just that's another reason, if anything, to focus on what you can control and not put too much thought, and because it's so easy to divert your focus. I think. Is. But definitely fresh items I think is, we've found that's and it's good for yourself, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Like when you're like demanding from yourself to list that much, like how would you feel if instead of like going every day and having 15 new things to list, how would you feel if you were like forced to just regurgitate or rehash what you've already listed? It would be harder, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be able to do it if you put your mind to it.
Yeah.
But it would be harder.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice?
It's really, yeah.
Go on, you were about to speak and say some words.
I was going to say, it's like when you go over old listings, like we sometimes have to do it for like our website, because not everything that we've put on the website has got SEO, because when we first started listing on it, it didn't. And going over those listings and rewriting them and filling out the SEO, you kind of find yourself getting quite bored of doing it, because you're kind of like, well, I've already done this once. How much can I change this? And like, and especially for the website, it kind of likes you to, like, particularly in the text, it likes you have a certain number of words. I never ever complete it fully to the number of words that it wants you to have. I think it wants like is it 300?
Yeah, 300 words.
I think it wants you to have 300 words.
It'd be like an essay.
And it's like on one product, you're not necessarily. There's only so much you can write about it. You know.
I mean, some of that SEO stuff I think has got to be outdated now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think some of that SEO stuff, things change. I mean, it is definitely making a difference because we're getting customers now from all over the country ordering stuff, which is really nice. Yeah. It's really nice. It's starting to get a bit of traction on there, which is good. But yeah, it's important to keep that in mind. Johnny 40 Coats has popped in as well. Thank you very much for popping in. Thank you to all the 48 people so far that have found the stream and are watching. Really do appreciate it. If you've got any questions and stuff, feel free to put them in the chat. We always like looking at questions as well. Paul Calvert says, Z, your shop would be well suited in Great Yarmouth. Been visiting here and they're making a killing. Paul, you know what? I think you can make a killing wherever you are with pop culture. I think it definitely. Obviously, there is going to be better high streets, worse high streets, but we love. Us.
You know what? Yeah. If we'd been on a busier high street, I'm not sure how we would have coped. If I'm honest, I think we're happy where we are. Our high street is very touristy, so it tends to get busy around like
this is our busy period,
little half terms. Some holidays are going to be busy for us, and then we'll get another little busyness around October-ish. But then from October, it will at the end of October it will stop because people will stop coming to their caravans locally. Yeah, and then we won't really see trade pick up until like April. Yeah. And that is what we've noticed in the.
But the thing is, it's in the year reinforced how important online is for us. Like, we've said this before, and I think we kind of fell off the trail last year because we got so hyped by the shop did well for us yesterday. Not yesterday, last year. It did really well. The shop did well last year, and I think it kind of derailed us a little bit. We thought, wow, we can kind of focus more on the shop. Yeah, we started focusing less on eBay. Yeah, winter was really good. And then when the shop showed us its true colours, it was one of those things. Has Beck finally left him? Who's the new guy? Thanks, Kevin. Lee makes an important point. Don't fall into the trap of listing crap to reach your target.
Yeah, absolutely.
I try to list a certain value as well, 12 items of value over 300, for example.
I mean, we mix it up because obviously it is going on our website and it is going in the shop as well. So we do have lower value items that we are listing. But you tend to focus on like the higher value stuff, like and it's always the stuff that needs testing or cleaning or whatever, and that takes some time.
And that does take a lot of time. So, and you're doing, for example, comics. A lot of them are cheap, but we only sell them for £3 each. But in the shop, they sell like,
and we found some quite nice ones.
And we have found some nice ones, but like the £3 ones have value to us, and I think this is where we now have that extra kind of feather in our cap, where we can still now get value out of things that you wouldn't if you were just doing eBay. Now, as a side effect, we do list that stuff on eBay because why not? Because it can still sell. But yes, 100%. I mean, we do try to balance it. So we sold
a comic this week overseas, didn't we? I think. No, did it go overseas?
Not overseas, but here. Yeah. So
I mean, it gets posted as like, and we're starting to
get a bit more traction on that. Yeah. So I think I might have been overseas. I'm not even sure.
I thought it was overseas because I think it was. I mean, because we carded it and everything.
But yeah, it's important to definitely bear in mind that. But like, we do have that kind of nice little option though of being able to sell that kind of stuff in the shop as well. But yeah, 100% as far as eBay is concerned, definitely. Barry says, hi all, just got in and seen this. Who's that bloke with the neat haircut? Thank you, Barry. Yes, thanks for popping in. Bold Finds, how are you? Loving the hair. Thanks very much for popping in. James, appreciate it. Mandy says, must use a filter system, out with old, in with new. Definitely.
I mean, that's something we're kind of talking about today. And we butted heads a little bit on this. I'm not going to lie. We did.
You did butt heads, yeah.
And then I had a bit of a strop and then I was like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, Beck has to have her strops, don't you?
I do. I need my strops, and then once I'm calmed down and I kind of think about it, and I'm like, actually, what he said made sense. So
yeah. Exactly. Oh man, Lex is just flexing a little there. When I say ran to the ground, I mean my 90-day went down to 12k, So not awful. It's back up now. Glad to hear
good.
it, Lex. And but you're a great example of consistency, just like Mandy above you in the chat there. You know what, you guys, like, it shows how important that basic consistency is. That basic habit is so key. And definitely what you've said there, Mandy, as well, about filtering out old stock. It's so important because it's like, it's getting your head around the fact that, and I remember Nick talking about this years ago. I remember when Nick first started talking about his shop and how hard he used to find it when he would buy new video games from like the accounts, and they wouldn't sell in whilst they were hot, as it were. Do you know what I mean? Like what? And then he was faced with having to slash the price to sell them.
Yeah.
And it really is a hard thing to get your head around, because eventually everything does sell.
Yeah.
But you don't want to put yourself in a position where you go out of business whilst you're waiting for that stuff to sell, because cash flow is so important as well, especially for us when we're trying to spread it across the shop as well as
we've got so
eBay.
much like going on. It's like it's important that Lex
saying LOL. No, honestly, Lex, you know what? You kind of, when we see stuff like what you're doing with eBay, it proves, doesn't it? If anyone needs proof, like it, like when you're saying, for example, your sales have been bad, there are certain people that consistently seem to perform. Just know that it's not coincidence. So when you see the likes of Lex and Mandy in the chat there, you can take so much inspiration from them. You really, really can. And there's plenty of others. I'm sorry if I haven't mentioned, but like there's lots of other people in the chat there as well that are in the same situation. They've got the consistency nailed down. Consistency is achievable. The market is always there. There's always people that want things. It's about adapting and offering those things, and it's having that whole package. It's learning how to let go of stuff. Like a lot of people won't do what Mandy does and get rid of stuff after a certain time frame. A lot of people don't have their system in for that. There are plenty of people that have stuff listed in their shops for many years, and there's no system as to when they're gonna kind of get rid of it. And the thing is, like, you can hear this, like, where sometimes things can take many years to sell. And we've done this ourselves. We've sold stuff after like a year and stuff and made some really good money on it. But you've got to be in a real certain position to do that. So for example, you either have to have enough storage, or you've got to have enough capital to allow something to sit for many years. A lot of people don't have that, and they're maybe not in like the position to do that. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of variables involved. So that's how I think. Yorkshire Monkey says, when you're going back to get the haircut finished? Very funny, Yorkshire Monkey. Thank you very much. This is as finished as it gets. It probably looked neater before, but I think it's not bad.
Yeah, it's quite neat.
I think there's bits there, like, it's a bit, it's fine. Hey, David M. Mandy says eBay recognize stale stores and quite frankly punish us for it. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, cheersy, says Lex. Honestly, Lex, you know what? There's you and Mandy definitely always pop into our heads when it comes to just, when you want to feel like, actually, wow, look at what you can do solidly and you're niched quite a lot as well, which is really, really cool as well, because that's the last time we had consistency is when we were fully niched. Right, like we've started to get some consistency now, but it's like it's different kind of consistency. It's still not. It's what I mean by that is it's not. It's kind of like overall consistent right now. We still have our ups and down days, whereas I think when we were doing just RC stuff, it was almost daily consistency, wasn't it? It was almost daily. We were getting a fixed amount of sales. Now it's averaging out like that. But if you look at it on a too short a time frame, there's still that up and down, We can still have a day where we only get like 3 orders or something, and then it goes back up to getting like 7 or 8 or whatever. But and it averages out overall like you 7 or 8 orders or whatever, and you're kind of like, okay, that's fine, But it's a different kind, and it definitely makes a difference. But yeah. Let's see. That's Bumcrack, the best name on YouTube. Thanks, Bumcrack, the best name on YouTube, says Bolfine. Yes, BCP has just shared James Bolfine's channel. Check it out, definitely. I shared David M's channel. Check out those channels, guys, if you're in the chat. Always worth it. Oh, man, I never get rid of listings. Well, like I said, it depends on... There's variables involved. It's not like, there's always variables involved. Z, I've been to my parents in Not End 8 times in 2 months. I still not managed to get down to your shop. No worries.
You're just busy.
You know what? There's people that live on our high street that come in and be like, I've been meaning to come in for the past year.
Yeah.
So
every time I walk past the shop, I say, I'm going to go in there.
Can we all notice too that Beck had 1 inch taken off her ponytail?
I haven't. No, do you know what? Yeah. Right, it's in a bun. There it goes. It's still there.
It's still there.
It's just it's in a bun.
There you go.
I just I didn't want it on the back of my neck today, so because of the weather.
Mr. G UK Reseller, that's another channel you definitely want to check out. Is Mr. G UK Reseller Vinny. Vinny actually runs a really cool shop and has run it for many years. Is it Cornwall? It's in Cornwall. It is in Cornwall, somewhere in Cornwall. I can't remember the name. It is. I'm certain it's in Cornwall.
It's going to be the wrong place now.
No, it's not.
It's going to be wrong.
I'm sure it's Cornwall. Called Mad for Miniatures. He has actually been on the channel before for a chat, and he's actually doing quite a few like haul videos and sales videos. So Vinny, as well as running a busy established shop, also does eBay on the side. So definitely, check out his channel as well. Got to take the dog out. We'll watch the rest later. No worries, Barry. Thanks for popping in.
We're gonna. Yeah. I mean, we might have to move on to. No.
Yeah. 7 days. 7. Yeah.
We're gonna have to go soon ourselves anyway.
Daisy B says, "Hey, I can only list 3 per day as I work full time. Still manage to average about 15 sales per week. I'm happy." That's just it. It's consistency, Daisy. And you know what? If you're working full time, to be doing that consistently is still brilliant. The number is arbitrary. It really is. You can work on the details of how much you need after you've created your habit. The habit is the hard part. Honestly, it's taken absolutely years. It's only recently I feel that we're actually taking listing seriously enough. We've always listed, but I don't think we've ever listed or given it the seriousness it deserves. Like, it really needs to be, like rule number 1 and 2 of Fight Club. We don't talk about Fight Club. Like, rules of reselling on eBay. Number 1, list every day. Rule number 2 should be list every day, because nothing else matters as much as listing. So yeah. Let's see what people are saying as well. 1 solid day of listings a week, then just packing and sourcing and life and fun for 6 days, says Lex. Well, there you go. It's consistent, though, isn't it? So it's consistent, and then like lots of packing, obviously. But the thing is, you get your systems in place for that, don't you? So that's fantastic. Raz says people go to the pound shop for a reason. I guess they do. Yeah, I mean, because everything's a pound, right? I mean, there's always a reason. Vinny says, thank you guys, glad I got onto the live. Saying Austell, Cornwall is where we are based. Thanks for the shout out and the link. Honestly, Vinny's shop is awesome if you're into any kind of like retro, like miniature gaming, Warhammer, and obviously Pokemon by the boatload, Magic by the boatload, and all that kind of good stuff. So if you're into it, and he's got so much knowledge, so definitely Vinny's a great person to talk to. Yorkshire Monkey says, I will make it to Garstang, just always seem to be late when I've got my dad sorted. It will happen. I hope so. Marcella says Z could get one of those live theatre mics that they tape to the forehead. Thank you, Marcella. I might look into that. Actually, hopefully we'll just get another mic, so I won't have to hold this one. But there we go. Still in Somerset, says Mandy. Should see what I've sourced this week. Thank Fork for a roof box. That's fantastic. You can't leave. We haven't had an Alf pigeon moment yet. Says no, we're not leaving. It's just, we're going to move on to like sharing.
Yeah, just move on to the
just
next.
A couple of little sales. We always do a little bit of sales. Antique Curio says, I just blitz eBay with auctions from job lots to keep the cash flow moving. I maybe don't make as much as by now, but there's always cash to reinvest. Exactly. As long as
it's like whatever works for you.
Whatever works for you. The key is consistency. I think that's just it. Yorkshire Monkey, rule 3. If you're not sure about anything, refer to rule 1 and 2. Honestly, like the key is consistency. Like forget the number. Forget just forget everything. It's just consistency. And it's such a simple thing that is like everyone knows it, right? Like everyone knows what it takes to be consistent. But not everyone will do it. Kind of like, I know what it will take for me to lose like 4 stones, but will I do it? You know, watch this space. You know, will I do it? Right? You know, I know what it takes, but will I do it? You know, I know what it takes to get consistent results on eBay, but will I do it? It's such a simple, it's one of those deceptively simple ideas, isn't it? Consistency. I'll be consistent, list every day. But how many people actually do it? I doubt it's the majority. Like, and I mean like in that regimented way where by hook or crook every day, whether you're sunbathing on a beach somewhere or whether you're in your office, are those listings going live? It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter how it's done. Whether you do it like Lex and do a whole day's worth of listing and then just you can spread it out across the week, or whether you do lots of auctions, or whether you just there's so much kind of there's lots of there are many ways to skin a cat. I hate that saying because I love cats, but there's many ways of doing that thing of consistency, I suppose. You make me blush, says Vinny. Who's this young lad? Sales on the unexpected. Peter, thanks for popping in, Peter. So we're going to just quickly do some sales. Why not? We'll just do a few sales. A few items that we've sold. Because why not? Because, something to talk about, right? Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do some sales. So the first item... There's just a handful of sales that we've sold. Some of the stuff we've sold this week because why not? It fills a bit of space. Do you know what I mean? Like in the video. Now this was an interesting sale. Squishmallows, guys. I don't really know about them.
I don't either.
But they're very soft and
very squishy.
Very squishy, and they're very popular. We got this from a car boot. There was a guy who clearly does Amazon, and he was clearing out a bunch of plush with tags, and we bought pretty much what he had. After obviously we weren't the first to the store, so I can only imagine what we missed out on.
Yeah.
But he had lots of plush, and we picked up a bunch of it. This item, I think we paid like it was £1 or max £2. I think for the big ones it was £2, but he did us a deal because we bought a whole bunch of them, so it was probably a little bit under. And he had all these little ones that we paid like £1 each for.
Yeah.
This is a Squishmallow.
And then he had even bigger ones that were a £5.
Yeah. Did he?
I think so.
No, I don't know. I think we got all.
Yeah, no, because he had some really big Among Us.
Really big ones.
Super
and
we
didn't
go for those ones because we didn't want the big ones.
But these are super popular. Like I said, with Max we paid £2. And it didn't take long for it to sell. We sold it for £18 in the end. Offers to watch or whatever it was. I don't know. Or maybe someone used the 5% off code.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just 5% sold.
So
off, wasn't it?
Really happy with that little sale there. So nice little item.
Or did you send an offer out? Actually?
I can't remember now. I can't remember. One of the two. It was like a 5% off that amount. Next item, this one I did send an offer out of £40. So this actually sold for £40 plus the $7.99 shipping. This is a Gaggia Cubica coffee machine. This is not a high-end coffee machine. This is not a high-end espresso machine. This is an entry-level machine. But Gaggia is a known brand. Again, they're not a high-end brand, but they're a known brand. So if you see Gaggia, it's kind of like the popular brand for espresso machines, and this is like one of their basic machines. Now I didn't even have the portafilter for this. We did actually have one, but it was all kind of balked. It was completely broken.
Yeah, we didn't want to sell it with it because we were just like, it's going to cause issues because it's not quite working confusion, as it should.
Exactly. Yeah. And when we looked at the solds, there wasn't a huge amount of difference between selling it with or without. Yeah. I think I picked this up for about a £5. It all works, the steam, the water, really simple to test. and it sold for 40 quid plus the shipping. But yeah, it's not. I'm not being a snob. Peter. It's just, it's basic. It's kind of like what you buy if you don't know, right? That's what it is.
I mean, that's fair.
It is. It comes with a really nasty portafilter that creates fake crema. Like, so even if your coffee's stale, because fresh coffee creates crema, which is like the head.
And what type of coffee are you drinking at the moment?
That's not the point.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah,
I still know.
Okay.
I'm drinking instant at the moment. Shame on me. But this because people that buy these machines don't know about coffee, they're likely to buy their coffee beans from the supermarket, so their beans are going to be stale. Stale beans won't have proper crema because they're not fresh, because they're stale. And so this has like a pressurized portafilter, like it adds fake crema. So it's just a horrible thing. Okay, right. But it does its job.
Let's move on from the coffee machine.
It's salt, okay.
Yeah.
I just had a cup of instant coffee. It was lovely. You know what? I enjoy my instant coffee too, okay? It's not... but I'm just saying. Right. Another sound bar. I'm pretty sure we showed one last week. Crema is not ER. Crema. Oh God, he's vexing me on purpose. He is. It's crema, Pete.
You didn't need to have your caps lock on either.
No, I did. I put them on specifically.
No.
But this is a Samsung. This is a Samsung soundbar.
And Zaheer loves shipping these. You want to hear his language.
I did fine.
You did fine with this one, yeah.
Soundbars are definitely worth picking up. Again, I don't really like them because they don't produce surround sound. It's just for compactness. People have them because they're compact and then they pretend they've got surround sound. You don't have surround sound, okay? You've got to have physical speakers surrounding you to have surround sound. This is just going to be some, Yeah. And anyway, again, this owes me about a £5. Okay?
Can we not have,
I have to give my opinions on the product. You'd put this...
Not do that part.
You'd use this maybe on your second or third TV, maybe. Or if you just don't have... if you don't appreciate good sound mixing...
In Zaheer's opinion, don't use it at all. Okay, just don't use it.
Just ideally don't use it, but if you're going to use it...
But you buy it, sell it.
Yeah, I buy it. Makes me a bad person in a way.
Yeah, you're the worst.
Does that make me a bad person?
Awful.
Does it? It does, doesn't it? Because I wouldn't use it. I tested it fully, but I wouldn't use it.
There you go. Right, let's move on from that as well.
So this is a Bluetooth soundbar. Definitely worth looking out for these. They're really easy to test because obviously you can hook your phone up to them and connect via Bluetooth. They do sometimes have other inputs. So I just took a photo there of the Bluetooth thing because it lights up on the top. I think the only input it had, I don't even know what inputs. I think it didn't really have anything. The USB was only for firmware updates. But anyway, it sold for... it actually sold for the asking, £40 plus shipping. Sounds snob alert.
I just want to stop you. Laney's popped into the
Hey Laney, how are you? Bloody Aussie, first you slammed the poor coffee machine, then us tone deaf TV watchers and the craps. No, I'm not.
Let's just move on.
Yeah, let's just move on. All right. Next item. This is quite cool.
This is quite cool. So this is
I need to cool down. Getting
Mario
flustered and angry.
Bubble bath empty bottle.
Yeah, empty bottle from 1992.
Yeah. Basically, it used to have bubble bath in it.
Look out for these, definitely.
They're actually quite... Yeah.
Bearing in mind it
did have damage. Did we accept an offer on this?
Yeah. Yes. I think it was a 5% off. It's off like 13
yeah,
something.
So we got this 5% thing on. So I wasn't sure that it sold for that price. I was like, I don't think it sold for that price.
But close enough.
Yeah, so it was minus the 5%.
Coffee machines as a substandard just for plebs. Mario, it's no
But yeah, so this is quite good, and we've got like a bunch of others that we've got like Ed the Duck. We've got like
we've actually we got this.
Yeah, we've got a bunch.
We've got a bunch of these kind of like retro.
This was part of like the plush lot, wasn't it?
Part of the plush lot. So it's selling low grade electronics and now selling empty bubbles. Really. So you can fill it with your choice.
You could refill it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. So. Don't buy your plastic bottles from the supermarket.
Moving
buy
on
ours
from...
and redo a refill.
Exactly. It's
there we
good
go.
for the environment. Substandard electronics seems to be the order of the day because here is a power supply.
Another one.
Now, as power supplies go, actually this brand is respectable.
Oh, okay. Is it all right?
Yeah, CIT are respectable. But that's the best I could say for them. It's respectable. Would I put this power supply in my PC? No.
Oh.
But it's solid. Okay. It is solid. It's a reliable power supply.
Would you put it in my PC?
I'd probably
put it in your...
I'd probably consider it.
I love your standards. It wouldn't go in my PC. I'd put it in your PC though.
You wouldn't notice.
I probably wouldn't.
I wouldn't notice either.
I wouldn't have a clue.
But as the person putting it together, I'd know.
There we go. Pigeon Watch.
There you go, Susie.
Pigeon Watch. There you go.
Alf is on Pigeon Watch. So an average brand, but still, this is something I've gotten into. Just to again help with inventory. I've started to sell PC parts now because I like to, and they're quite simple to test. Just so you know, with power supplies like this, but not fancy ones. Like if you have a fancy one, this won't work. But you can get a little jumper from eBay that will plug into the 24-pin connector, which allows you to power this up outside of hooking it up to a motherboard on a computer if you were to ever sell power supplies. And so you can actually test all the leads without it being connected to a whole computer. Because normally to get these running, they have to be plugged into like the 24-pin power or 4 and 8-pin power on a motherboard. Kind of PC stuff, but yeah, it sold for 25 quid. I was really happy with that.
I just want to interrupt you. Shelley's in the chat as well. And
hey, Shelley, how are you? Thanks
no need to apologise for being late. It's fine.
There's no euphemisms. Just stick some washing up liquid in, no one would know. Yeah, refill it with high grade bubble bath. Yeah, there's no euphemisms. It's just now this is, he likes to sell them because they're cheap. Oh gosh, no. Well, it gets worse because this is quite an entry level.
Where were you going with the sales this week? You were just like, oh yeah, let's share this one. Let's share this one. It just seems like you just wanted to just rip into the shit. Oh, he's gone. Yeah. Oh, he's got two of them now.
This came to me as part of a job lot of electronics, and pretty much doesn't owe us much at all. Yeah. I actually shared this, I think, in a video. Now this is actually entry level and faulty. So
wow.
This is a twofer.
Wow, what was wrong with it?
The CD player and radio works fine. It actually produced decent sound.
Was it the tape?
The cassette wasn't working. But despite that, it sold for 30 quid plus shipping. And it's actually going abroad as well, GSP.
They're going to get it and say the tape doesn't work.
Probably. Let's be honest, yeah. Next item, I took an offer on this for £50. Again, PC stuff actually does have value. This is an Asus motherboard and an Intel processor. This processor is about 12 years old, I think. It's an i7-930. If you were to sell the processor on its own, it's only worth about a tenner. The value here is mainly in the motherboard, and that's sold for £50 plus $7.99 shipping. Moving on, this was one of the little Spider-Man plushes. This sold for $10.99, little Spider-Man plush. This was one of the £1 pickups from the car boot. Yeah. We've also sold some of these in the shop, which has been really good as well. So nice little sale. Good. This was quite a nice little sale, guys. So this is more of a high-end sale, I suppose.
It's not high-end.
Little Gengar. If you're into your Pokemon, or if you're into your Pokemon stuff, you'll be aware that back in 1998, 1999, Tomy released a bunch of tiny 2-inch little figures, which all have this CGTSJ marking on the back as well as the Tomy branding. So this is actually a tiny 2-inch figure, and if I may say so myself, some pretty nice photos there, don't you think?
I think you were
pretty good
saying
photos.
That last time.
I think I was saying that. 2.5 megapixel photos on my camera. They've done a really good job there. This sold. It was up for 20. I think I sent an offer out on 18.
It was it was about 18
quid for that. How crazy. Tiny little figure. Most of them, be aware, are not worth much. We've actually got the rest of them priced up in the shop for like a £5 each. But like this one has some value. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. And the final item we want to share this week is this Walt Disney embroidered cap. I paid £1.50 for this at a charity shop, and it's a retro Walt Disney cap. Lots of cool embroidery. As you can see, the embroidery is made up of Mickey, Winnie the Pooh, Goofy, Donald Duck, Pluto, and Tigger, I'm guessing.
I think
so that would be the it's really cool embroidery. Sold for, I think it was 5% off that, so it's like £15.34 or something plus shipping. So I'm really happy with that as well. So nice little sale. I'll just switch us back to the full screen. He likes, high end at last. Sick of seeing what the riffraff buy. No, you know what? I was okay. It was wrong of me to say that, maybe.
Yeah.
But they are entry level items. They're like entry level products. I'm just teaching people that those are not high end.
Okay.
You know, I don't want someone to see a Bose and think, oh, that's high end. You know.
No.
Can I tell you guys a story? We'll end on this.
Do you know what?
We'll end on this.
This will be the last story because we really do have to go.
You know what I'm going to talk about.
You're going to talk about, because we were talking about it the other day.
All right. I don't know if I've shared this with you guys as well.
I don't think we have, actually.
When I was at Harrods, we used to get mystery shopped a lot, right? To check the salespeople's knowledge, etc. And so I was working in the hi-fi department, and I was quite well regarded in the department for my knowledge on stuff, right? And I must have gotten mystery shopped by someone from Bose. They scored me, I believe, 4%.
Yeah.
4%.
Which is pretty bad.
Well, yeah,
obviously. Yeah. It was really bad.
It's 4%.
I thought I'd just point out that 4% is quite bad.
Yeah, they scored me 4% because apparently the guy had given me a lot of chances to recommend Bose to him, and I think I must have gone on one of my rants. or I must have just done everything to convince him not to buy the Bose.
Yeah.
Because I was honestly trying to help him get better sound for his money.
Yeah.
Okay?
You were basically saying like,
okay, the Bose system in question was $4,000. Okay. For $4,000, you could have a much better system for $4,000, and that's all I was trying to do. In hindsight, it was wrong of me. I should just sell people what they want, I guess. But 4% they rated me because that's
just because he wouldn't recommend Bose.
I think because he gave me chances. Looking back, and I remembered afterwards, like, oh, it must have been that guy. Because I felt, why is this guy so like? Why does he want Bose so much?
Bose? Why would you?
I was like, why? I was going into the crappy power supply they use, and
anyway. So he ripped Bose apart on a mystery 4%.
Shop. But I'm not bitter about it.
You deserved that 4%, didn't you?
I think I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, on that note,
I imagine your manager was really happy with you.
They laughed, actually. They actually laughed. There you go. Get a good. See, Yorkshire Monkeys more on it there. Lynn turntables. Yeah. Exactly. You could get a good. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be morally wrong. It would have been morally wrong of me to have just packed. Because you know what? I'll admit, morally, when we didn't like someone and someone came in all highfalutin and all like, like they knew everything and they had heard Bose was good, I used to happily say, yeah, you deserve the Bose, and it's $4,000, and they'd get a Lifestyle 48 Bose system and go off, and I'd be like, yeah, you know what, you deserve that. Yeah, that is for you. It's made for you. But if someone was a decent person, right, and I was the arbitrary judge of that, of course, I would help them and get them quality amplification, bi-ampable speakers, decent preamps, and decent, you know, something good for your money. But anyway, right. Anyway, on that note,
we really have to go actually.
We have to go. Could I pick up our daughter?
Well,
it's 8 o'clock. Yeah. Right. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it.